This is now my third year with the Husqvarna Automower 415X. I've learned a lot about it from having spent so much time with it.
While my first season with the device was an incredible time saver, the years ever since are kind of losing that initial luster. Going into my third season now, I've noticed some very significant things about the mower that I think are very much worth updating my original review.
In this video, I'll talk about what the overall experience has been like after 3 years and about a few very significant issues that have cropped up not just today, but over the past 2 years.
And I'll talk about why I think this type of technology won't even exist in another year or two, and why you should be checking out a couple of different robot lawn mowing options and which one I recommend in particular. Let's start with getting the mower going again after a winter in storage. Because Calgary has an incredibly cold winter climate, I store the mower indoors during the winter to protect the battery, but unfortunately I don't think that helped with the overall longevity. I'll get to a little more on that in just a couple minutes.
One of the primary issues I've noticed is that when I take the mower out of storage every spring, the yard needs to be completely remapped. While the Husqvarna app does show my map as being accurate and intact, each spring I've encountered many problems.
At its simplest, the mower seems to just not complete a cut sometimes, and at its most complex, it can't find its way to areas of the yard, particularly those at a greater distance from the charging station. So what that looks like in practice is that I get patchy lawns that look a little like a child randomly took scissors to it. So that means each season I need to delete the mower from the Husqvarna app, which then prompts me to create a whole new map.
Now, ordinarily this wouldn't be an issue, but it is a pain because it can take a week to 2 weeks to generate a new map. In case this happens to you and you're struggling with the repairing and remapping process, there's a few things you need to do before you can do the remapping procedure. The first is to reset the robot itself, and you can do this right on the robot by looking in the menu for the accessories option and then choosing to unpair the bot. Then in the Husqvarna app, you'll need to unpair your robot also by going to More, My Mowers, and then choosing Unpair Mower. Then, and this is important, go into your phone's Bluetooth menu and see if you can still see the robot in the list. And if you can, you'll want to delete it from the Bluetooth or choose Forget the Device.
If you skip this step, you're going to end up going through the repairing process multiple times and it won't be able to connect. Now from there, you should simply be able to go through the steps to just add a new robot to your app so it can begin the arduous task of remapping your yard.
But this year I went through 6 days of remapping only for the map to miss more than half my yard. While it can clearly see the boundaries, it hasn't included large areas of the yard in the new map, and this means I need to rerun the whole sequence again. These days, the remapping takes more like 3 weeks because the mower's battery's been declining, and because the mower needs to protect about 20% of its battery life to return to the base. That means on most days, I only get about 30 to 40 minutes of runtime before it needs to go back and recharge.
But it also means that on many days, particularly if the mower is out at the outer boundaries of my property, it will run out of power there and just die, meaning I need to go pick it up and carry it and put it back on the base station. From my experience, the mower loses about 1% of its battery for every minute it works. The poor battery life definitely extends how much time is needed for the robot to remap my lawn, and it also means that it doesn't cut the whole lawn as quickly anymore either, because it has to keep going back and recharging.
The third major issue I'm having with the Automower is its lack of synchronicity with the other optional accessory I installed, the fence door. The fence door allows the mower to pass outside the backyard and into the front and requires your local dealer to install a Bluetooth module and special bumpers that keep the fence door from hitting the stop button.
The fence door uses D-cell batteries, which absolutely need changing every year, and as I've found, sometimes twice in a season. One big pet peeve I'll make note of right away is that there is absolutely no way to know if the batteries are dead or not. But your biggest giveaway will be if the mower isn't getting out through the fence and you've noticed it banging up against the door without it swinging open. After 3 years with this mower, I found the Bluetooth module can be intermittent at communicating with the door, and if it's not lined up just right, the mower will simply bang against the door for a few minutes before registering a blocked error and returning to base. That in turn means that after a while, it stops trying to get out of the backyard and into the front to complete that cut.
The bumpers are also extremely prone to falling off or being torn off by the very heavy door, and I've had to purchase new bumpers to keep things running smoothly. The fourth major maintenance issue is with the physical wires required to run one of these robots.
This year, when I reconnected everything and got it set up for the season, I got what's called a loop error, which means there's a break in the line somewhere. Whether from snow shoveling, raking, or some other accidental tear, there is a high degree of probability that somewhere along your boundary wire at some point there's going to be a break. And there is no way whatsoever to tell where it is except for going along the line inch by inch looking for one. Now, fortunately, I found the break fairly quickly by looking in higher traffic areas first, but it did require soldering the wire back together and then reburying it, which for some of you out there may be more than you want to take on.
The fifth thing I've found I don't love about this mower is how it randomly bumbles around the yard, cutting in a haphazard pattern. The only way it keeps the whole yard evenly cut is by going out so often that it eventually cuts almost everywhere. But newer technology has this robot beat handily. With RTK or satellite mapping, newer robots don't need to be corralled in your yard by physical boundary wire. You can basically drive the robot around your yard with a joystick and tell it where the boundaries are, and it will remember them to within a couple inches. Plus, this same new technology allows robots like the Eovax goat, which I reviewed recently, to cut in neat and tidy rows and even reverse those rows every other week so you don't get ruts. If you are actively shopping for your first robot mower, I would highly recommend you check out my full review of the Eovax goat and consider that before you take on a wired robot.
So after 3 years, do those 5 major issues tarnish this robot's performance? In short, yes. While the mower does still do a good job in terms of cutting the grass, once I get over all those hurdles, there is definitely a few weeks of maintenance, upgrades, and remapping that takes time and patience. And depending on your skill level with wiring or app troubleshooting, this could either be a minor annoyance or a major frustration. For my yard, I think the Husqvarna is still a good solution for a couple of reasons. The first is that I feel like since I've gone to all the trouble of spending about 3 days burying the boundary wire a few summers ago, I'm not ready to give up on things just yet. Second is that the mower works well on my yard and it is able to cut both the front and the back thanks to the addition of the fence door. Now, because we have dogs, this is a critical solution to allowing the mower to get both the front and the back on our property. But with that said, if you haven't yet invested in a robot mower, I would absolutely recommend that you not choose one that requires boundary wire. And I really don't think this technology is even going to be around in the next year or two. Technology has advanced so much in the last 3 or 4 years that there's now several options for robots that just don't need buried wire. Husqvarna apparently makes a wire-free robot too, but I have not had the opportunity to try it out, so I can't say if the overall experience and their technology has improved.
The Eovax bot I reviewed earlier this year, the Eovax goat, I can't tell you how easy it was to map my yard and what a great job the robot does mowing in completely straight and overlapping rows as opposed to the Husqvarna, which bumbles around at random.
The only reason I haven't yet replaced the Husqvarna with the goat is that Eovax doesn't yet offer a fence door option that can help me get both the front and the back lawns cut. Now, the moment they offer this, or if I can find a way to hack the Bluetooth module out of the Husqvarna here and maybe install it in the Eovax, I will definitely be making a switch. Don't forget to let me know in comments if you're interested in what happens next. I'll also be getting hands-on with a couple other new lawn robots this season, so be sure to check out those reviews as well. And if you're looking at other ways to spruce up your yard, there is plenty of technology that can help you. See what else I recommend right now.